So at this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the conference, Sean Kaufman. As many of you know, Sean has been a true supporter of biosafety over many, many years now. For over 25 years, Sean has worked to minimize human risk factors within workplace environments by controlling for the interactions between human behavior and environmental conditions. Previously, he served as the Center for Disease Control in Emory University's School of Public Health. During his tenure at those organizations, he responded to many different emergencies, including 9/11, anthrax, Ebola, H1N1, this earlier SARS outbreak, and of course, our most recent pandemic. He has been awarded 2 Health and Human Distinguished Service Awards and has recently published his first book, Prepare and Protect: Safe Behaviors in Laboratories and Clinical Containment Settings. Sean is a behavioral expert who understands the risks of being human. We're very, very pleased, Sean, that you were able to join us, and I turn the floor over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Maureen, very, very much. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I want to welcome you to A Vision of Tomorrow. I think this is it's just an outstanding opportunity for the world to connect around biosafety. And I am very honored and very humbled to be a part of the IFBA family. I want to thank Maureen for all that she has done in spearheading such an unbelievable initiative. I want to thank Dr. Amir and Dr. Martin and all the people. I see Dr. Cosmion, all the people, all the leadership, all the folks that have made this happen. Thank you so very much. And I also want to thank all of you that are listening, because you actually make up the family of IFBA, and you were, extremely important. And so before I begin, I want to start with just four basic words, 4 very, very basic words. Your time has come. In no time in history that I'm aware of has there ever been such an important need for you, for those who are listening, for your skills, for your dedication, for your courage. No time in history that I'm aware of. And I've studied it all the way back to the 40s and the 30s, to the beginning of biosafety and biorisk management. Your time has come. Dr. Amir did say very clearly that with any challenges that you receive, there are opportunities. And let me tell you something. I think that IFBA and its vision of tomorrow is an unbelievable jumpstart in what biosafety and biorisk management is going to be as you move forward. I want to salute all of you listening to this. You are all infectious disease pioneers. And what that means, in my opinion, based on what I see, whether you find yourself in a research lab or a public health lab or a clinical lab or wherever it is, even a field lab, wherever you're serving to keep people safer, you are on the front lines of infectious disease. We have so many emerging infectious disease, and research is going into the direction where we'll be really truly knocking on Mother Nature's door. And rather than waiting for pandemic threats to come to us, we're going to go look for those. And at no time in history has there been a greater need for people like you. You will actually be serving on the cusp of emerging infectious diseases, as you are already, and you will be serving so many different specialties. Again, whether it's research or whether you're in public health investigating what's happening, or whether you're in a hospital every single day. You don't really know what patients have until they get the intelligence and the information from those you serve and keep safe. You provide information, or a part of the team that provides information to identify, manage, adapt, recover infectious disease threats, and you're the ones that keep those people safe so that they can continue to work and do what they need to do during a pandemic. Your skills, by the way, oh my goodness, your skills go so far beyond the laboratory, so far beyond the laboratory. And during this pandemic, you have been used in healthcare facilities, in schools for children, and even in home settings. You're amazing. You are awesome. You need to know that, because so often at work, you feel undervalued. underappreciated. You don't ever have the resources you feel you need to do the job that you need to do. And quite honestly, during this pandemic, you are probably extremely overworked. You are the unknown heroes of this pandemic. Yes, doctors and nurses get shown all the time, and sometimes we even see pictures of laboratory scientists, sometimes police officers and firefighters and military personnel. But you behind the scenes are the ones that keep people safe and keep them coming to work. And you, like I said, your time has come. No time in history has there ever been an opportunity as there is right now for you to demonstrate and show, and for people to remember just how valuable you are. You have an unbelievable and unmatched amount of courage. I don't need to say any more than that. I just salute you, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud to be a part of the family that you are and have become. In a pandemic, as we prepare for the future, I think it's absolutely critical to recognize the stages of a pandemic, the stages of an emergency, and how IFBA and the vision of tomorrow actually plays into each and every single one of these categories, these stages. Preparedness requires partnerships and collaboration, not when emergencies happen. It requires partnerships and collaboration right now, before things go on. And I'm telling you right now, even though we're in the midst of an emergency and we're still responding, and there's active science and we're still learning, even though there's so much, we will need those relationships for recovery, for getting over what has already happened. We will need those relationships to defend science, because people will attack that. We will need those relationships to get back to a new level of norm. And we will need those relationships to learn the lessons so that the next pandemic that occurs, we become better and stronger as a result of it. IFBA is an outstanding organization that brings people together globally to capture lessons and to strengthen initiatives in biorisk management. And we need each other in every single stage. And I want to focus on some things in biosafety and biorisk management. We are a system. We're not an individual. We are systems. Wherever you're at, your system of biorisk management, in my opinion, should focus on three things. It should focus on the agents, which are the most obvious hazards in the laboratory. It should focus on people and developing your staff so that they work safer. And you understand that they're human. And you're building an environment that promotes transparency and trust within that organization. And then you focus on the environment. And the environment is not just your laboratory. It's not just your facility, but it's your culture. It's how all those things work together and blend together. Now, at any time within your own facility, if any one of these components breaks down, it's like a car. A car is not just a car. It's an engine. They're pumps, tires, wheels. And at any time, if one of those things breaks down, it causes a problem within the system. So when you come forward as part of your system, realize that you are focusing on your system, but as we work together during a pandemic, we have multiple systems. We have systems that are interconnected and they are functioning and they are working. And when we are assessing our risks and looking at the hazards and developing management skills, and we're sharing all of these things, and we're discussing and we're partnering and we're learning and we're approaching things with open minds, we succeed and fail together. We are a collective system. A system, in essence, that keeps those that work with infectious diseases safe. And even if they don't work with them, like I said, your skills and abilities have far exceeded the laboratories during this pandemic. If that doesn't make you feel important, if that doesn't make you realize just how important your profession is, I don't think, again, you have gone out. People have said, I need what they have in the lab that keeps scientists safe in schools, in hospitals. You don't put your head down. You put your head up right now, because I'm telling you, now is the time. Now is your time. The tomorrow vision, the vision of tomorrow around biosafety and biorisk management, I'm telling you right now, is going to have a lot to do with you and your skills. And so I want to invite you to get out and I want you to share. Why? Because the next decade is going to be discussing how do we better prepare and respond to these issues? And you've got answers. You've got a contribution to make. And let me explain a little bit as to how. I call it the biosafety table. All right, because biosafety is not the food that we give to people. It's not the food. Biosafety is the table that calls people together. I'm telling you right now, and I'll give you a perfect case study. Dr. Amir, I'll give him accolades when the time comes, and even Dr. Kazmi and all the people in Pakistan. But let me explain this. If you can call people together to a table for the sake of safety, you will get the scientists, you'll get the leadership, you could get the general public, you could get teachers, you could get healthcare leaders. You're going to get everybody at that table. Why? Because they all want to know what you know. They want to know, how do I protect our staff from infectious diseases? And when they get to that table, that's where you begin to serve in biosafety or biorisk management. You can serve up so many things. And guess what? This is the bizarre thing. People will look at you and go, what does this have to do with biosafety? For example, as many of you may know, I'm a behaviorist. So I like to teach personality differences. I like to say, let's learn about Myers-Briggs and let's talk about personality differences. And people come to the table and they go, I thought we were here to talk about safety. Well, guess what? When human beings work with one another and they don't get along and there's conflict, not only does that affect the efficacy and the efficiency of science, but it also promotes an environment where conflict can cause hazards and safety issues because we're human, we're not robots. And so what I'm trying to get at is that biosafety table is what brings people together for you then to determine what they need to prepare. And I think when we looked at equality, which is Maureen spearheading this, that's an example. What does equality have to do with science? Most people go, I'm talking about technical stuff. I thought this is biosafety. It has a lot to do with a lot of things. And biosafety table is what you bring people together to sit at, and then you serve them what it's going to take for us to be successful in what it is that we do. Trust me, your time has come. You can host many dinners now. You will get many people to your table. You will for the next decade. Please use that opportunity. Don't waste it. The vision of tomorrow includes you and includes the opportunity to be extremely successful. Let me give you a case study here. In 2015, when we first started our work, thank you, Dr. Amir, for everything you have done. You have been an exceptional leader. Dr. Kazmi, you've done some great things. I'm telling you right now, there's been there's so much. But in 2015, when we started in Pakistan, Dr. Ziba from NIH, and I love Dr. Ziva, said, okay, let's do some training. And I said, well, we've got to train them in PAPRs. You should have seen the faces of people. PAPRs? Pakistan doesn't have PAPRs. Why would we train people in PAPRs? Why? I'm not training for today or yesterday. And I love the vision of tomorrow. I'm training for what Pakistan could become. I don't want you to dream about where you are or where you've been. I don't even want you to talk about those things because they get depressing sometimes. I want you to dream about where you want to be. I want you to dream about what you could be. When we started this initiative in 2015, we could have never imagined the pandemic that we're experiencing today. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, everybody talked about it and everybody supposedly was prepared for it. But did we know the skills that would be needed around the world to do our jobs? No. For 4 or 5 years, Pakistan had some of the best donning and doffing of PPE training. We fed people when they came to the biosafety table. We didn't stop at just, hey, this is what you do in biosafety, but Dr. Amir and David and Ziba's vision, they said, no, CCHF is an endemic issue every Eid. Let's talk to the healthcare workers. And they opened it up and healthcare workers came to the table. Oh, let's not stop there. Let's now talk to the leadership. So we did leadership training, and let's do communications training so that if you're in front of a camera, right, Dr. Saeed, if you're out there, or Dr. Cosme, or if you're in front of a camera, you'll know how to speak and tell people what they need to know during a pandemic situation. You'll know how to talk to your staff. A culture will matter. You will need to know what your people are doing. You'll need to be open and transparent. So let's take punishment and the shame game and the blame game, and let's throw that away, and let's encourage people. And when they make mistakes, let's embrace them with kindness and hugging them and letting them know we appreciate you and it's okay. Pick your head up. We need you. We focused on increasing self-efficacy, skills, attitudes, abilities, and safety, and established lifelong relationships, which in this pandemic have been absolutely critical. This is an example. It's a case study of what biosafety or biorisk management can do in a country that did, in my opinion, and it still is doing an outstanding job responding to the pandemic. Many of you are going to listen to my words, and using the case study in Pakistan, we have trained thousands. And if you start off those little seeds, those are thousands of little seeds. But within that group, some of those individuals became rooted, and we nurtured them, and we grew them, and we continued to invest in them until they became unbelievable, rooted, structural, strong, fortified trees. You have a job right now, which is to plant as many seeds as you can. And yes, there will be many people who will take the seed and the seed will die and nothing will grow from it. But you have an opportunity to root yourself right now and to teach others. And this is one of the most amazing things about IFBA. Good fruit doesn't come from a bad tree, Maureen. This is an example of your leadership and your skills and your abilities to lead internationally. I am so proud of what I've seen IFBA do. I'm so proud of the certified professionals and the way they represent themselves. I'm so proud of what you've done during the pandemic situation. You have an opportunity not to grow someone to a tree. Those are leaders like Dr. Amir, who has to provide for the resources of nurturing and growing people. You may not have those resources. Your job is to plant the seed, to remind people that your profession exists, to keep that profession on the forefront of people's minds, as Maureen has said, to come out from the back scenes and let people know that, no, this wasn't just luck that people worked safely. And no, it wasn't just a skill of one particular person. This was a profession with strategies. It was strategic. It was done with science. That's what we do. It's a profession that you should become aware of. And if you elect to choose it, it's a profession that we should be able to prepare you for. When we talk about responding, all of those things we did in preparing, we've not only done in Pakistan, we've done literally around the world. But basically, the outcomes are we have individuals that believe they can work with a novel virus safely. And that's what we need. We need good self-efficacy. We had individuals who weren't just part of a BioPrism program. They trained people. We made them trainers. The capacity stayed within the country, and we grew the capacity internally, which is awesome. We built social media. And by the way, if you do not think social media is part of your vision for tomorrow, start thinking again. In Pakistan, we built a beautiful YouTube channel where people could go and learn skills. And I say learn skills, even though I don't like that as a behaviorist. Why? Because I'm watching my young children perfect behaviors by watching YouTube over and over again and trying over and over again until they get it just right. They are self-learning. And social media is part of any future pandemic preparedness. It's part of any future pandemic response as well. I have been so proud to see many of the people we train appear on the media. They are educating the country on what they can do safely during a pandemic. I'm so proud. I'm so very proud to see that. I'm so proud to know that they are consulting hospitals and schools and universities, and that leaders are turning to them for their advice. Very proud of that. And I've seen people who have limited resources strategically minimize risk, not with the use of money, but with the use of what they've obtained, with creativity and knowledge and an understanding of infectious diseases. They have good, sound risk assessment and management procedures, which, as Maureen said, is exactly what WHO has encouraged us to do moving forward in biosafety. I'm so very proud to watch this profession not only survive this pandemic, but thrive completely through it. So, in closing, just two things. Your time has come. You have shined. You will continue to shine. You're going to need to, because science is going to come under attack. I want to thank you for all your service and for all you do, and let you know truly, I am extremely, so very humbled to be a part of the IFBA family. I've been humbled to be able to share my talk with you today. I wish you all the very, very best personally and professionally, and also stay strong and stay safe, and let's do safety together. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Sean, for that wonderful, inspiring talk this morning, as always. We're very grateful that you were able to share your time with us today. If any of you would like to send a message along to Sean, please do so in the chat, and we will look at that after. And I'm sure he'll get back to you after this session is over.